Well, welcome to day 2. Oops, no, let me grab the day 2. Welcome to day 2 of fasting. Traditionally, not the nicest of days of fasting. Day 2 generally is where we feel the most hungriest and a bit out of sorts and can feel a bit crabby. So but it's definitely worth getting through if you can get through day 2. So yesterday we covered quite a bit, obviously, about day 1. So we've through that. Most of us would have started maybe on Sunday, not you, Fiona, because you're just starting today. But if you were doing the group fast starting on Monday, then you probably will have actually started Sunday, technically, when the last time you ate. So whatever time that is, I know as we start to do more group fasts or you start to fast more often, you'll probably make sure that you finish early on Sunday so that you can get your days in and get eating again. So I finished at 4 p.m. So I'm just clocked over 2 days now. So but yes, yesterday we covered what happens in the 1 to 12 hour mark, the 18-hour mark, and the 24-hour mark. So today we're going to cover from 48 hours to 72 hours. So don't take this as gospel, because everybody's body is different, depending on how often you fasted. If you've done a lot of fasting before, then you'll slip into that ketosis point, that transition point, quite quickly. A lot faster, usually around that 24-hour mark, you'll be going into that. If you haven't fasted much or before, then it can take a little bit longer. So day 2 generally is that transition period. So this is a stage where we do start to, and I mentioned this yesterday, where we start to move from the normal intermittent fasting, which lasts for a cycle of 24 hours. So at some point during those 24 hours, you're fasting and also eating. You have your little eating window. But now we start to move into extended water fasting. And this is where we really start to kick up a notch. So between 24 hours and 36 hours, we do start to run out of glycogen in the liver. So if you're not on a keto diet and you normally have carbs in your diet, the liver is creating glycogen in the liver to create your fuel for your system, so your energy. But it runs out pretty quick. So it is a sugar-based thing, so it'll run out pretty quick once we start fasting and we don't have any more carbs coming in. So it's starting to switch over into using fat. So the body signals, okay, there's no more glycogen left. Okay, it's time to switch over to fat burning. And that's what's happening in this transition period. So we do get this small window of time where we don't have any glycogen, because that's pretty much run out. And yet we don't have the ketones, which is the fat, as the result of fat burning. And they haven't come up yet. So we've got this small window that happens in the transition period, which is why you feel so crappy and headachy and really tired, where both of them are quite low. And we haven't done that switchover period yet. So the body knows that it's time to switch into fat burning mode, because the hormone insulin actually goes down. And so insulin, every time you eat, insulin is created in the body. So that's blood sugars. If you've ever measured your blood sugars, you're measuring your insulin levels. And so that's very associated, obviously, with diabetes. So when your insulin is not reacting as it should in the body, that's when you get type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So insulin will go up when you eat, and its main job is to actually store energy, and that is in the form of body fat. So when insulin goes down, that process then reverses, and we burn more fat, which is why fasting is so efficient, basically, at burning fat. So low insulin is actually the key that unlocks your fat storage in your body. So if you ever wondered how to burn fat, that's it. You have to keep your insulin low. So as insulin drops, the body fat gets released, and it's used for fuel, basically. So unless you're a really lean-bodied person, you can fast for quite a long period of time. And I did put in the group that guy that had fasted for a year. He was taking in some electrolytes and things like that, but the body is amazing. So a normal body can probably fast for about 40 days without starting to eat into muscle and things like that. So rest assured, you can do a 2 or 3 day fast, no problem. You'll be fine. So so fasting literally is the best way to burn body fat, by taking the insulin will lower down. This is the fastest way to lower insulin, is by fasting. And the more you fast, the lower your insulin levels and the more fat you're going to burn. So just having a look at a quick little graph here. This is what I showed yesterday. So when you first started fasting, your insulin would have been quite high from your carbs that you will have eaten, particularly if you've had fruits and vegetables, they're quite high in carbs. And eventually that's actually just going to disappear. So the glycogen in the liver is being used up, and the ketones, which is the fat burning, the result of fat burning, have to come back up. So this switching point is happening here where we're sort of low on both of those things. But as we go along, our ketones start to rise, our insulin is quite low, and this is where we start to really feel much, much better on a fast, because the body loves ketones and the brain particularly loves ketones. So at the switching point, as I said, the energy might be the lowest, your blood sugar is down low, and your ketone levels are low as well. And you're going to feel probably quite hungry at this point as well, because that hunger hormone, ghrelin, is still active. So whenever you, just in normal life, without fasting, whenever you get to that point where either you haven't eaten for quite a while, or, you know, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it's time for lunch, and your body knows that, so it has the body clock, it kicks in. So that hormone will kick up and go, hi, I'm here, it's time to eat. And so if we don't satisfy that on a fast, it's going to keep coming up for a little while. Eventually it will sort of give up, if you like, and sort of just lower back down again and just settle down. And that's why we don't feel hungry on a fast as we go along, the longer we go, because ghrelin is just sort of given up. At that stage, it doesn't try and come into play anymore. So our bodies start to then adapt to those lower hormone levels, and we basically just don't feel hungry. We don't have hunger sensations. So when you're feeling hungry, that's what's happening on a fast in that first, maybe day or two. Obviously, that's it. This is the ghrelin level coming down, and time fasting and the hunger. So yeah. But before that happens, you might feel like it's time to give up. The mind definitely kicks up. So it's not the body that's really kicking up, going, it's time to break the fast, let's go and have some chips, or let's go and eat this or eat that. It's actually the mind that's doing it. So it's the hormones controlling the mind that then sort of say, okay, like I'm really hungry right now, I need to go and eat something, or I'm really bored, like whatever the mind games are that are coming up, particularly on day 2, you'll be sort of convincing yourself that you've done long enough on a fast, that it won't matter if you give up. Like all these stories start coming up. I'm sure we can all relate to this. So yeah, and by sort of day 2, I don't know about you, I don't notice it so much now, but I definitely was like that in my first few fasts, where all I was doing is watching people eat. Like it just felt like everyone was eating, and they were eating massive amounts of food. It was just quite crazy. So I remember watching a TV show, and there was 2 people sitting in front having a conversation, and all I was focused on, I realized partway through, was the people sitting in the background, the extras, eating at the restaurant. So I was like, oh my God, I'm not even listening to what the main characters are like talking about. I'm so focused on what these people in the background are eating. It's so funny. But yeah, so you might feel a few headaches, a little bit of trouble focusing. That's because those ketones are quite low still. So when they start to kick up, you'll start to feel a huge amount of mind clarity, probably better than you've ever felt before. And yeah, but these are all quite normal, transition period reactions to things. So don't fear about it. You'll actually start to feel quite amazing very shortly. So once this process of changing the fuel sources is over, and you've gone through that process, you are going to feel much, much better on a fast. And this is where you feel like you could keep fasting forever, because you do feel like you're thriving, and maybe you feel better than you've felt in months or years even, because the body now is not getting tied up in the process of digestion as much. And it's just doing really well. Like the body really does thrive when it doesn't have so much food. So normally we're packing food into it, and it's trying to deal with it. But when you take that away, suddenly it's like, oh my God, you actually feel alive, a lot more energy, a lot lighter, not just because you're losing weight, but just feel lighter in general. And yeah, you really do feel much, much better. So ketones are an appetite suppressant, as I said, so your hunger will start to go away. And the antioxidant reserves also start building up. So that's why you feel so much better in the brain, because you're getting a lot more oxygen into your brain as well, which might not happen very often ordinarily. So around this sort of 24 hours to 48-hour period as well, we get a thing called autophagy, which is where the body starts cleaning out the old and damaged and worn out cells. So, which is amazing for the body in terms of healing. So it's starting to break those things down, and the old proteins, and it's turning them into amino acids, which the body will then start to use. So it also has a dramatic effect on preventing cell diseases, such as neurodegenerative diseases and cancers, and also anti-aging as well. And the plaque that occurs on the brain, which I was talking about yesterday in terms of the bentonite clay, if you take bentonite clay, that will also start to reduce the amount of plaque that's on the brain. And plaque is definitely been linked to Alzheimer's and dementia. So if that's in your family, you might want to really think about that in terms of using fasting to help that process. But also things like bentonite clay can be really good for that as well, and in alleviating and pulling out those toxins and plaque. And the longer you fast, the more autophagy actually accelerates, and it really does become quite a powerhouse of autophagy. So cleaning out those dead old cells and replacing them with brand new ones. So eventually, if you fast long enough, you're going to get a whole new body of new cells. So that's pretty cool. And inflammation, you'll definitely notice this in that 24-hour to 48-hour period. It will really kick up where you're starting to reduce the amount of inflammation in your body as well. And so things like arthritis, any swelling that you might have, autoimmune diseases, if you've got any of that sort of thing, you will notice a real reduction in the symptoms of those things. So this is where I saw my biggest difference as well. Sorry, Nikki. Oh, muted. Did you need to talk?
Sorry, I was just clearing my throat and then realised I wasn't muted. Excuse me, I'm muting myself now.
That's cool. That's all good. Yeah, this is where I really noticed a massive difference when I started fasting, and because I'd had broken my leg, and it was really no good for the last 2 years after that. I had a huge amount of swelling. I couldn't bend my knee at all because I got hit in the side of the knee. So that's actually where the issue was. And I literally had very little movement in my knee, and I was really quite worried that I would never get that back. And get some flexibility back in there. I had lots and lots of tons of physio for probably about 4 months of physio to even just walk again. So there was tons of swelling in my ankle and in my knee. I got really bad circulation in our family. My mum particularly has bad circulation and varicose veins, so I knew that was starting to become an issue. But fasting, I literally within 2 days, I was just showing Jodie on my first fast, first extended fast, and she was like, "You're kidding." I could actually lock my knee back. I could bend my knee. I could walk downstairs without going flat-footed, which is what I was doing. And she was like, "Oh my God, it's only been 2 days. You're kidding." And I was like, "No, it's the fasting. It's just reducing." At that stage, I don't think I fully understood what was going on scientifically inside. But to really see the difference in inflammation. And of course, inflammation is pain, because when you have pain, you actually have inflammation. That's what's causing the pain. So this was my ankle originally, and this is what it ended up with. I still have some swelling here, and I think that's probably just a genetic thing, but definitely nothing like my leg had been.
It is pretty remarkable.
It is, yeah. And you think about, sorry.
That's just 2 days?
That was 2 days. Yeah, 2 days into fasting, it actually reduced. It didn't just disappear to end up like this 100% in 2 days, but bit by bit it was reducing. And each time I fasted, it's got better. So I would say my ankles are infinitely better than what they were in terms of swelling, even when I'm not fasting now. So it really has made quite a big difference long term as well, which is really good. So it's good to know that it's not just when you're on a fast that things improve. Certainly when you go back to eating, inflammation is going to come eventually. And that's why I really advocate regular fasting, So if you can fast once a month, then it's really going to help these things, and it gives your body a chance to have a break from digesting all the time. Because if we remember, it's either digesting or it's healing. It can't do both at the same time. So if you're constantly giving it food to digest, your body never gets around to healing stuff. And so fasting really is about having a break from everything and just resting the body a lot more, which is why I sort of say don't get into massive amounts of exercise when you're fasting. Like, do have a break, and keep it, move around, certainly, like swimming and things like that is great, but don't do massive amounts of workouts and stuff. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing. So what else is happening around that 24-hour mark? If that is not enough, you start to get more gut healing around this time too. So the body no longer has to work on digestion. It can actually have a bit of a break. So all your organs are actually starting to have a break by now, and they're starting to rejuvenate themselves. So, and yesterday we started to touch on at the 24-hour mark or the 18-hour mark, you would start to kick into stem cells. So these really start to kick up now in day 2, and they really are essential for repairing worn out parts of the body. That's why they're extensively used in, hospitals when people have had accidents and things like that. They use stem cells to try and rejuvenate parts of the body. So your body is naturally doing that. They will actually create stem cells around that 18-hour mark of not having food, which is why we sort of say, if you can do an 18-hour intermittent fast, that's really healthy. Go from sort of that 16:8 to 18:6. You will actually get that little burst of stem cells each day, which is really good. And then you're also improving your cardiovascular function at the moment. So, because the heart really does thrive on ketones, it loves it. So this is all happening in like 24 to 48 hours of fasting, which is pretty freaking amazing. So we're also now in full fat burning mode. So you might notice if you're anything like Daryl, you're probably over what normally happens. So most people would lose about a pound of fat a day on a fast. If you've got plenty of fat on your body, then that's about what it averages out. I've taken extensive records of how much I've lost on each day of a fast, and also when I'm not fasting. So I've been keeping records for months and months. So it really does average out to be about a pound a day. But Daryl, you were saying that you're way above that right now.
I was going to say, maybe it's because I have such massive quantities of fat that's coming off fast.
It's good. That's fantastic. That's great. I think that just really helps the mind boost as well. We talked yesterday about weighing yourself, and not everyone is a big fan of doing that on a fast or any time, jumping on scales, because I guess it's not always about losing weight. But it is a nice little mood booster when you can realize that you're actually losing quite a bit of weight, and it is actually fat. It's initially, it might be a little bit of fluid loss, but it's definitely not muscle loss at that stage. It really is fat loss, because the body is actually burning fat. So it makes a lot of sense that the weight that's coming off is actually fat at that stage. So, and we've talked about obviously hunger going away. And yeah, the stem cells, so just more healing and more repair, more anti-aging. And then around that 2-day mark, you're really going to start to decrease certain risk of cancer as well. So that's diet related. So that's it. It's lots happening in the body, 24 hours to 48 hours. It's amazing. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Nat.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hope that sort of gives you a little boost. Like, that's why I sort of want to share that is, I think when you know what's going on inside your body and the amazingness that's going on inside, it does give you that little mental boost of like, it's worth it. It's worth going, keep going. Like, even if it's just for a couple of days, it's like you can go without food for a couple of days. Like, and it's really, really worth it. It's so beneficial. So tomorrow we'll go through day 3, but it really, everything just ramps up from here. Like, it sort of starts to take off on day 2. And from there, you just really turn up the dial on the amount of healing that's going on, because you've really got nothing left in your body to digest or process or anything like that. Usually the detox has happened by that stage as well. It is very quick on a fast. The body's very rapid at detoxing. So now it's just in full healing mode. So the longer you can go after sort of day 2, day 3 is the better, 100%. You can really
I suppose, to be fair, I possibly could be classed to have started on yesterday, because
Yeah.
all I had for supper was broth.
Oh yeah. So whatever you had before that, where it was like a solid meal of some description, that's probably when you
Sort
started
of
then.
breakfast dish where I had fruit and fruit juices.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, well, that would have
So,
been
yeah.
the last amount of carbs, like decent carbs with sugar in it, sort of thing, like
Yeah.
the fruits. So I would class yourself as starting then, definitely. Yeah. So you're actually a good, decent way into it now.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, that's really cool.
Does anybody else struggle with sleeping when they in the first night? Like last night, again, and it's always the second night of the fast. First night, no problem. Second night, awful night's sleep again.
Yeah.
Well, I've already been asleep in front of the computer this evening, so and that's quite early to go to sleep in front of the computer. Then again, last night I fell asleep in the bath, and that was at 7 o'clock, so that was really good.
Oh, there you go.
I have sleep apnea, so I always have some sleep issues. But
okay.
You normally have problems sleeping, Nikki, or?
No, God, no. I could sleep on a clothesline. I'm one of those awful people that can even sleep on a plane. So, yeah, much to the disgust of my friends and family. But yeah, I can go to sleep like that. Yeah, but yeah, last night,
just tossing and turning, like.
Just, I mean, I think I finally went to sleep at about 3 o'clock, and then my alarm went off at 6. So I had to get up and do some jobs straight away. So yeah, and yeah, I definitely didn't get any quality of sleep. So I'm absolutely shattered. So I am going to leave you in a second.
Yeah,
but
were you feeling feeling agitated in your sleep? Like, what was actually, do you think, too much energy? That could be an issue. Yeah. Sometimes I find that on a fast as well. Generally, when you think about it, sleep is actually to heal the body. So it's a timeout. So each organ has its own hours of downtime. But if you're doing that 24/7 already, you don't need that. To sleep. So oftentimes you'll probably find on a fast you don't need to sleep that much. A lot of people say that, like, you might be done in 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely to happen in my case.
You got catching up to do.
Well, these bloody builders, you know, they're sort of here at 8:30 in the morning, and well, at least that's what I was told. So I have to get up at 8:30, and I don't normally get up till quite a lot later. And as I don't go to bed till pretty late, you know, it doesn't help. Oh dear. Yes, I was busy trying to do some work, and my alarm went off at 10 o'clock just now and woke me up to get onto this webinar. So,
well, thank you for coming. Thank you for staying up, Nikki.
I'm going to love you and leave you.
Yes,
lovely
please
to see you all, and all the best with the rest of the fast. And I'll try and catch up with you tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, good
all
one.
Right.
Well done on fasting. You're doing good.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.
So is she on day 2?
Yes, so she would have started Sunday at some stage. Yeah, so she'd be a good 48. Oh, well, was she 52 hours into it? I think she was saying just before. So she must have started about midday on Sunday. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Early on Sunday,
yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's really cool. Good one. So any other questions or anything that's coming up you wanted to talk about? Otherwise we can slot off, and we'll be back on tomorrow to talk about day 3 and the refeeding stage as well.
I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well done on fasting.
Well, I was planning on doing an enema this evening, but it was so cold I couldn't bear it.
Yeah.
So I haven't.
Yeah. I was thinking about it yesterday. It was so damn cold as well. I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
I can't.
No, if the heating's on tomorrow and it's actually working and it's a bit warmer, I might do one tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I doubt it'll have heated the house up enough by then. So we'll
No,
see.
it's definitely it's for warmer weather. The enemas, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Undressed for a period of time. It
Exactly.
gets a bit chilly.
Yeah.
Well, I actually had
Anyway,
to turn
thank
the
you
heat
very
on.
much.
Yeah, you're
I had to turn
welcome.
the heat on yesterday when I did it. So,
Oh, good. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just the problem is the bloody coldness. I could sit in front of the fire, but then I'm not close to a loo or a bath or
That's
anything.
not good. You want to be close to a
Exactly.
lake.
that
Exactly.
could be a
You know,
problem.
That is definitely a problem.
yeah.
Yeah, I think give that a miss right now.
Yeah.
Good one. All right. Well,
No,
thank
I
you
mean,
for
it's only
coming.
a 2 to 3 day fast, so it's not the
Yeah, it's
quite
not
as bad
essential.
as-
Your body will still be digesting things and processing and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Yeah, a longer
No,
one.
it just clears you out. That's what's good about it. But
It does. It definitely makes you feel better, and I think
Yeah.
it's just a chance for your body to do a clear out when there's not more stuff going into it. You can clear out what's already there, and it's a nice
yeah, exactly.
break. So yeah, I like it for that, definitely.
Well, I mean, I'll definitely find a time in January when I can do 3 or 4 days.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, we'll do another one in not too early in January because everyone will still be getting over
yeah.
this new year. But
Well,
I think that sort
we-
of that second week or so, I think I'd pegged out
yeah,
for doing a group fast. So yeah, it would be good.
yeah. I may or may not be able to join that because I know we've got another weekend when everyone's coming up, and I think it's the
Okay.
second weekend in January, and so it will probably be after that I would
Okay.
be doing it.
Perfect.
So
Oh,
maybe
you'll
the
you'll
third
need it
week.
by then.
Sorry.
You'll need it by then.
Yeah, exactly. After Christmas and New Year, and then them coming up. I mean,
Then
I
you'll
am
need
thinking about whether I can fit it in between New Year and them coming up, because that's the other option.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm
Good.
already getting so much hassle from my mother for doing it this week, you know, because she doesn't understand why I would dream of fasting anyway.
Probably of not eating.
So yeah,
Outside her reality.
yeah,
I know,
it's
it's
not,
so funny, isn't it? Yeah.
it's not her sort of thing
Horrified.
at all.
No. Is it dangerous? That's what Jodie's mum keeps saying. Is it dangerous to not eat?
That's my mom.
Oh,
I
yeah.
told her I was
I was like, you're the one that's been dieting for like decades.
Well, interestingly enough, one of the chaps who's fitting these radiators, he does intermittent fasting. It's a strange. I think he said he has breakfast at 7 in the morning and then doesn't eat till 7 in the evening. So that's
Okay.
all he eats. And he
Yeah.
said he's lost an enormous amount of weight.
Yes.
So
yeah, I definitely agree. It's
Yeah.
going to that OMAD, which is what Nikki's been doing, that 1 meal a day. If you can do that, like even if the 1 meal a day extends over 2 hours or something,
yeah,
then that's a fantastic way of losing weight as well.
yeah,
because
exactly.
it does start to get into that fat burning. You're getting stem cells like this. It's really healthy to do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, he
I'm
certainly
yet to get to that,
looks
but
good on it. So
yeah, that's cool. It's really good. Good one. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. And
Well, thank you.
I'll see
Good
you
day,
again
all.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right.
See you
Good
tomorrow, hopefully.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Night, night.
Bye.
Well, night, night for us.
Night, night for you.